Okay, I'm making this video on my Duan old pit inkstone. This is probably my best stone. You can see the box it comes in, really nice. It's got the wood that, like, when you move around, the pattern shifts on it. It's very nice. It's a nice hardwood. Inside, of course, is the old pit inkstone. You can see how nicely carved it is with peaches and branches and a bird. The back also has carving with peaches and a branch. Here I'm going to carve my seal and maybe a little dedication to the stone. And so when I zoom in on the bird's chest, so you can see the level of detail that Duan inkstone can take. It takes very fine detail without breaking down. That's one of the great things with Duan stone. So it can be carved. My thumbnail for size. And this particular stone has what they call ice crack pattern, and it's a series of thin white lines that run through it. That means that stone's been very affected by water. Stones with ice crack pattern are considered the best, especially for grinding ink. You can see holes left when the cracks have healed and calcium carbonate has filled those holes, and when it's processed, some of those pop out, and these are called wormholes. Doesn't affect the value or the ability of the stone to grind ink. You can see here there's like blemishes around them. That's the calcium carbonate. Here you can see the scorch marks, and then around this, on the surface of the stone, you see these little faint white lines. These are called goose feathers, and they tell you that the stone is very, very delicate and that it grinds the best ink. The surface is very smooth, and what it is that the surface has very fine potholes, like pock marks in it, and that allows the very fine particles of ink to be cut off and fill those holes. So that fine processed ink is what makes the inkstone so good. And because the particle size is very small, that means your overall ink particle size is going to be very small as well. This stone has been affected by water. The clay material has been leached out, and this stone has a blue tint here. That's called azure, and then it's like kind of got a light, shiny, metallic color to it overall, and that's fish brain freeze. Those all together mean the stone's very, very delicate. The stone like this runs about $4,000, maybe $4,500 today. This is an heirloom piece, beautifully carved. I'm going to wet it down so you can see some of the features, hopefully before my time runs out on my camera. Limited memory, unfortunately, iPhone. So you can see these features come out now. The scorch marks, of course, the goose feathers, you can see them here. You can see one of the cracks. Let me see if I can turn so you can see the rest of the cracking. The finer the crack, the better the stone. This stone is just really wonderful. It makes beautiful. You can see here one of the white filled lines. It makes just absolutely amazing ink. You cannot use bottled ink after you use a stone like this. It grinds it quickly. The other thing about these old pit stones is because they have the clay material is leached out, they don't absorb a lot of water, which means that your ink is not going to dry out as quickly, and it's also not going to go rancid. You can see the suggested pattern of the grid of the cracks because of the little holes in the white lines. Here you can see another one of those cracks. But overall, this stone is just absolutely wonderful. This pit has only been opened twice in the last century, 1979, and before I think it was 1912. Of course, because of the stuff going on in China, it affected a lot of stuff. You see, this is the rind that tells you that the stone's been affected by water. There are different kinds depending whether it sits out in the open air or whether it's inside the tunnel. Duan old pit stone comes from a cave that's usually flooded most of the year, and they pump the water out, and it goes under the West River in Guangdong province. And So the stone, there's very limited access. This is East Hole stone. It comes from a long tunnel that has like these series of antechambers. The Great West Hole is the one that they took most of the stone out last time, and it produces some of the finest inkstones you can get. But this comes from the East Hole, and which I believe has the the better of the inkstones.